as you want. So ask any questions that you want about instructor training and anything like that. Mark, myself and Tracy had a chat.
What I've done is I've just hit record actually, so if George doesn't manage to log on, then I can send him a recording of it anyway then.
Oh, that's very, very fancy.
Shall I do you a formal Friday night introduction then?
Go on then.
So, okay, so this is Betty. Betty is our course director. She works for ProDive, which basically only really concentrate on teaching people to become instructors. So not only us use her as our course director, but several other dive centres do as well. Obviously not just in the UK, so you can probably tell she's in Spain currently doing an IDC out there. And she's taught a few other people like Kate, who obviously teaches with us now. So any of you know Kate can probably vouch for her. And she is really good at what she does, which is why we use her. So we can pretty much use any course director we want, but having carefully vetted her over pie and chips.
Yes, that was good pie and chips.
That was good at pie and chips. Unfortunately, we can't do it this year. But,
yeah.
And we've got so many trainee dive masters in the company this year, and we'll probably normally get another bout of people sign up in the new year when they realise their current jobs are a load of rubbish and they want to do something a bit more dreamy. We'll get some more. So we are thinking of doing our first ever exclusive IDC for Oyster Diving, which means that we can use the lake at Mercer's Park, which no one else can use. So we were talking about Raisbury Viz a minute ago. We don't have to worry about that. We've got the pool down in Caterham. So we've got a really nice 3 metre deep pool with loads of space in it as well, and it's super warm. So it will probably be about the best IDC that's capable of being run in London. But then there is always the option to follow Betty somewhere warmer as well, if you really want to do that. But I think we were talking about doing, I'm probably stepping on your toes a little bit, but doing April-ish time within May IDC, which I think works quite well with a few of you, particularly George, who obviously is not here now. So yeah. I'm going to hand over to you, Betty, and you can fill your boots. If you need me to get you to be co-host so you can share slides or anything, then let me know.
Yep, will do. Thank you very much, Mark. So I think a couple of you have been on a session with me before, so hello again. And for those who haven't met me before, hi. As Mark said, I am currently in Spain. I'm 5 days into an IDC. That's why I've got these massive bags under my eyes. It's been very intense so far, which is good. I've got 6 people on it, so they're all at very different abilities. So there's lots of juggling going on. And as Mark said as well, we're looking and we're really hoping we can do a dedicated Oyster IDC in April. And one of the things that we were discussing before is that we are kind of leaning towards it being conducted over weekends. So it will be really flexible schedule-wise. So people who do have full-time jobs, it can kind of slot in around that a lot easier. I did a part-time one in October with some girls, and they actually really enjoyed the format because they had a weekend of training and then they had the week where they could kind of really reflect on what they'd learnt, the feedback that they'd had from the presentations that they had delivered to me. And then when they came back the following weekend, they were armed with lots of really good questions. They'd had a long time to really think and prepare their next steps. And then when they started doing their presentations again, the improvement between the different kind of pool or classroom or open water presentations they were doing was really, really good. So that's definitely an option that I think works really well, especially at home in the UK, because people sometimes are reluctant or unable to take the annual leave that they need to do a course. So it's a really good option. And I think when we spoke before with Mark and also Tracy, that was something that was quite appealing. So hopefully that sounds like a good kind of program for you guys as well. So as Mark said, one of the best advantages of doing your instructor course is that you get to go around the world and have a bit more variety and a bit more excitement in your jobs. I have 2 jobs. I have my course director job, and then I have a Monday to Friday kind of office-based job where I get to tell people what to do. So basically my full-time job, whatever I'm doing, is telling people what to do. But this one's a lot more fun because it's a lot more rewarding, and seeing people's improvement is the reason why I do my course directorship job. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to share a couple of pictures just because they're pretty. I'm used to doing this with like 2 laptops on the go, so this is going to be interesting if this works or not. So let me see. Oh, Mark, could you enable screen share, please? It's quite annoying on Zoom. They change where the button is every time I log on when I'm hosting. It's a nightmare. Right, let's try that. There we go. So share sound as well because there's a video. Okay, basically I just wanted to show off some pictures of happy, smiley IDC people. So just to kind of give you a kind of roundup of what I've done this year, because obviously it's been unprecedented for everybody, regardless of your industry that you work in, and probably your kind of social and family life as well. But there has been hope, and the pro training has actually been really, really positive throughout it. And through the first lockdown, I got to work with this motley crew here, and it ended up growing exponentially. It started off with 3 IDC candidates, and then lots of people were getting in touch with me saying, oh, I've got nothing to do, I'm locked down, I want to, you know, improve things, I want to do a next course, and all of this, that, and the other. And it just kind of expanded out of control slightly. And we had all of these people, and they're all really valuable assets to PADI. They all got a lot from their training, and there's 6 new staff instructors in the group as well. So even at the assistant level for like course director and helping on IDCs, there's a lot of really good people coming through. And obviously you can be part of that as becoming a PADI instructor yourselves. It doesn't want to work. And as Mark said, and I just thought I'd keep one sunny picture in because I can. I do also get to travel to some tropical locations, but Caterham, I think, is high on my list of tropical locations that I do want to visit, which is something that we will obviously be going to in London. As I said, flexibility wise, to help you people doing it over here, and I'm pretending I'm back home now, it really is a good option doing it with someone like Oyster, because we can be very flexible to your needs. What we'd do is we'd work together with you as a group, find out what your availability is. You know, if you can do some evening Zoom sessions, we can do some workshops still on Zoom. PADI have been very good this year at allowing us the flexibility to teach in so many new ways with so many new technologies. It's meant that we've been able to reach a much, much bigger audience. Have you guys ever done any of the online sessions? I think a couple of you came to the mental health awareness session with me. Have you done any of the other PADI courses remotely or any other workshops? I can only see 3 of you now, so if you're shaking your heads, I can't tell, I'm afraid. So somebody yell. Oh.
The DM stuff on Zoom.
Oh, cool.
A lot of theory of that works quite well.
Yeah, so it's been really helpful that they've actually allowed that to happen, which is absolutely fantastic. Cool. Thanks for using the chat. Very technological. Right. So I'm not going to go through this whole presentation because it is, as I said, quite long, and it is not completely relevant. So I'll just show some key pictures and highlights. Mark is also very aware of employment opportunities around the world. So as part of any training that you do, Mark will obviously help you and give you some ideas about how you can apply your training to travel. So whether it's in a couple, I think from the session before he was saying places like the Maldives is always a really good bet, but he's also had experience in other amazing locations around the world. So if you do want to see where your training can take you, you know, do get in touch with Mark, and he can really, really kind of show you the opportunities that were around for that, which is absolutely fantastic. And not a lot of dive centres have that resource either. So do use and abuse him as much as you possibly can to make the most out of your opportunities. So are you all dive masters or dive masters in training already? Or have we got some that are still kind of thinking about pro as a whole? So you're all pretty much dive masters already? Cool. So you'll have obviously started your pro training with PADI. You've started taking on a lot more responsibility in terms of leading divers, doing things like reactivates and DSDs. So you've all got the, or in the process of learning how all of these things work, which gives you the foundations of becoming an instructor. And it's just really an extension of that when you do your IDC. So it's nothing that's going to put you in an uncomfortable position. It's just building on those foundations that you've already learned. Cool, so Tim's already done EFRI. So that's part of the instructor process. So thanks for mentioning that, Tim. So to become an instructor, you do have to do your EFR instructor course, but we don't charge an additional amount of money for that or anything. And we don't make you come for additional days after the course or before it. We build it all into the one package because you have to do it. So, I mean, I don't feel it's fair to make you then have extra kind of hidden costs on top and also be told that you then need to find an additional like day somewhere or, you know, 2 evenings or what have you. So all of that will be built into the whole kind of structure of how the course works. What else do we need to know? So because you're obviously invested in the PADI system as either dive masters or DMTs, you're very aware of the PADI brand. And the PADI brand is such a powerful brand when it comes to diving. It's recognized all over the world in, I think it's about, I've got the actual number here, 186 countries, and there's over 6,600 dive centres and resorts across the world. So that really does tie back into the fact that as an instructor, I mean, as a dive master, there's opportunities as well. Obviously, as an instructor, those opportunities become a lot more broad. There's so many options for, you know, doing a bit of traveling, getting a bit of work whilst you're traveling, and maybe just completely going, do you know what? I don't want to do the day job anymore. I want to go and do something a lot more exciting and something that's a lot more rewarding. And then, you know, you can get in touch with PADI. There's an employment board on the website as well. You can look what's available and, you know, change your life in a really, really positive way. So the course itself, you obviously have to be a dive master to do an IDC. Hopefully you know that bit already. The first part of the course you need to do is some independent study. So with the dive master course, you would have got those nice black manuals with 8 easy chapters and 1 horrible chapter. Back with all the theory and all of those kinds of things. For the IDC, it's now all e-learning and it's all an online product. And they've actually done not too bad a job at it. Tim, you said you've already completed your e-learning. I don't know if you'd agree with me that they've done an okay job at the e-learning product, but it's split into 16 or 17 chapters. So you'll go through basics such as teaching, so teaching workshops, the PADI system, how the tools that PADI provide really help and enhance your skills as an instructor. There's a bit on risk management, which is very important. Then it talks to you about the different PADI programs, how to put together different types of presentations, and it just gives you kind of a very high level introduction to a lot of the topics. And then you get to be stuck with me to do the rest. It's a double-edged sword, that one. But, you know, generally speaking, there's other people to help you as well. But I'm just there to kind of guide and show you guys that you're actually all very much capable of doing it, and making sure that you've got the tools you need to succeed. So you've got all that e-learning, and there's some really good resources on the e-learning product as well. So you get an electronic version of the Dive Knowledge workbook, so you can really get to grips with your theory. I'm also halfway through writing a simplified theory document, which is an improvement on the one that I did have before. So hopefully that will be done over Christmas, because I won't be allowed out once I get back from Spain. So I'll have nothing better to do than write this up. So that will be available to everyone that I teach as well. So it will just basically break down the theory into manageable chunks and in understandable language, rather than kind of weird words that are sometimes put in to try and trip us up. What else do we have to do? So we've got a lot of workshops. So the IDC that we're teaching now is a brand new syllabus. So Tom and Melvin, you're already instructors, aren't you? Yeah. So the IDC now is different from the one that they probably did, because it was launched last November. So it's a lot more workshop based now. So I would introduce a topic and go through some of the key parts of it and the most important pieces of information. And then you guys do workshops and really get into the mindset of being an instructor throughout the whole course, and come up with some answers to some problems that we set, some workshops, kind of what would you do? How would you arrange this? How would you perform this skill? And, you know, it's really hands-on now. There's no death by PowerPoint anymore, which is delightful. Yeah, everyone's like, yes. You know, if nothing else is enjoyable about the IDC, it's the fact there's no PowerPoint anymore. It really is a huge improvement. George has summed it up nicely on the chat window there. But it really is a massive improvement. And it means that you can really start applying everything that you thought you knew already. And it also reassures you that you know loads of information and that you do have what it takes to become an instructor. So very positive. So the course itself can be split into two halves, or it can be done as a whole. So it's basically, the IDC consists of two courses. It consists of the assistant instructor course, but also the what they call the AUSI course. And you'll find in PADI land, we don't talk in real words, we talk in acronyms because we get quite lazy. So AUSI is the open water scuba instructor. So it's two halves, but the IDC covers both of those halves. And if you want to go straight from dive master to full instructor, what we do is we just combine it all into one package, basically. So you'll do the whole course in its entirety, rather than the two subset courses. So that's kind of how it's organized. So both parts of the course consist of some knowledge development presentations. So this is when you stand up and you deliver some teaching for particular topics that the simulation is that people don't understand or they've got wrong. You then teach in confined water. So there's, as if you're teaching brand new divers, a whole range of skills. We try and cover as many different skills as we can within the group in the time that we've got. And then the same thing in open water. So it's all about how you present yourself as an instructor, how you conduct your briefings, how you position yourself in the water, how you look after people in the water. I'm just having flashbacks to this morning in the sea and some of the very frightening things I saw. I still got my work cut out over here. And Yeah. So for the instructors that are on at the moment, one instructor taking 2 students up on a Caesar line at the same time. Yeah, I wanted to run away, but unfortunately I couldn't. But yeah, so learning how to not do things like that is a very, very key part. And then we just do some other things like loads of rescue stuff, because sometimes people have had a big gap between their rescue course and their IDC. So there's lots of rescue workshops, skill circuit again. So sorry about that. Doing some swims and tread waters, but not timed like the dive master one. So you can basically just do old lady breaststroke with your head out the water, daisies on your cap and everything if you want to. And then, you know, that's all you need to do to succeed. But yeah, so quite a variety of things. So you've kind of got a really nice broad picture of all the different skills that you need to do. And as I said, then the other presentations from me are generally workshops. So it's not death by PowerPoint, which is really good. And Tim, yes, send me a message afterwards and I'll tell you what you need to do to get your e-learning sorted. So I'm kind of a bit bored of the sound of my own voice at this point. So ask me some questions. I think that's probably a good place to continue.
Betty, so before you do that, it might be worth pointing out a couple of things that we offer that most other dive centres don't offer.
Oh yes, our new offering. I'd nearly forgotten about this.
Yeah, so myself and Betty sat down the other day to work out what we can do to sort of make it a bit more attractive for our IDCs and give us a point of difference over other dive centres. And we're one of the few dive centres in the UK who've got the Ocean Reef full face mask. And if anyone's ever seen them, they look really cool, something like out of Star Wars. Betty also happens to have one of her own as well. So we were going to throw in the Ocean Reef full face mask specialty, so you could teach that once you become an open water instructor as well. And the other brilliant thing about them is that once you are an instructor, if you've got a dive master who's qualified to use them as well, is that we've got the comms, so you can talk to your dive master. So if you've got a student or somebody who's trying to go 2 up at a time on a Caesar line, you could say, no, stop them idiots. And then the other thing that we'd do as well is once you become an open water instructor, most people generally then go on to become a master scuba diver trainer. So to do that, you need 5 specialties. Obviously, the Ocean Reef full face mask would count as one of those, but we'd do your 5 additional ones anyway. And then we would then let you team teach with people like you've got Melvin here, Tom here, myself. So you team teach with an experienced instructor to get some work experience, but also you could get your first 25 certifications, which is one of the criteria for becoming an MSDT.
Yeah, and that is honestly a huge, huge benefit. I don't know of any other dive centres in the UK, especially, that offer that support for their newly qualified instructors. So you'd have the opportunity to team teach with some really good experienced people and start building up your experience. And as Mark said, it will really help you get to your 25 certs to become a master scuba diver trainer. So what I'll do very quickly actually is I'll just show you the slide which has got the kind of pro continuing education route on it. Okay, I'll just show you this very quickly. So you can hopefully see this nice little chart, very nicely presented. So you are almost at number 1, so dive master. So then you would go on to open water scuba instructor. Then specialty instructor, that really can slot in at any stage of this chart. So for teaching any courses other than the core ones, so open water, advanced, rescue dive master, PPB and project aware, you need to complete training to be able to teach the courses. So things like deep and rec, navigation, full face mask, DSMB, you know, the list goes on and on and on and on. You have to do a little bit of additional training to be able to teach that to your students. I really recommend that you do that and do it within your IDC, because it works out a lot cheaper and a lot more time efficient, because then you can teach a huge variety of courses as soon as you qualify, which also makes things a lot more fun and a lot more interesting for you as an instructor. Because great as the core courses are to teach, the more variety you've got, the more fun it will be, the more interesting it will be. And also your experience and your opportunities to teach will be a lot greater, because you'll be able to get stuck in with everything rather than having to wait for the one course you can teach to come up, if that makes any sense. So once you've got your 5 specialties and 25 certifications, you can become a master scuba diver trainer. That's not an additional course, it's a progression. So all you need to do is fill in an application form, send it to PADI, and they will up your certification level to the next level. The IDC staff instructor course, that one is another course that you do. So you assist on an IDC for that one. And you will then be able to assist on pro level training. And you just become a kind of lot more broadly versatile instructor, really, as a staff instructor. Master instructor is officially the most difficult instructor rating to get. There's a lot of prerequisites, so don't worry too much about that. And then obviously from there, you go on to becoming a course director, which is again another course. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you kind of like the path through on that one. And it's actually quite a pretty slide as well, which is always useful. Cool. So does anyone have questions while you've got me? If doing across weekends, what is rough time frame? Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. So the IE would be the 1st and 2nd of May. So the IEs, I have no control over them, generally speaking. PADI produced the calendar for IEs. They've just published next year's. So the IE that we were looking at was the 1st weekend in May. But what we can do is, work with you guys between you and come up with the schedule, if that makes sense. So it's hard to have a lot of notes about when I'm working. Okay, so what we can do is, as I said, if you guys all kind of send what you think you can do or how much notice you need, we can sort of work it from there. And as I said, we have got the option to do some workshop things on Zoom, which we can do over evenings. So I don't like doing Zoom sessions of more than a couple of hours, because they become very hard going, especially when you're getting involved and doing workshops and having to learn and all of those sorts of things. So I like to try and keep those kind of in shorter bite-sized chunks, just because you get fatigue looking at a screen for so long and all of those kind of things. So I can be quite flexible on that. I still have a lot of grounds covered on practice stuff. Very feasible, I'd say, Peter, as long as the restrictions for COVID don't, put us behind too much more. But I mean, you've got a great team of instructors at Oyster, so I'm pretty sure the guys, if they knew you were working to a time scale, they'd be able to schedule you in order to get you completed in the right amount of time. Another thing to note as well is, if you are still a dive master in training, and you think you're going to be finished not that long before the IDC starts, it doesn't prevent you doing the e-learning. So you can sign up to that at any time. So you can do your independent study for the IDC, even if you haven't quite completed your dive master, because it's kind of foundation knowledge. It's nothing too onerous or anything. There's a lot to it. It will take you a while to get through, but there's no reason why you can't do some of the e-learning whilst your BM's just finishing off and all that sort of stuff. Any other questions?
I got a question.
Oh, hi.
Hello. I want to get my MI. I'm mostly there, but I need AIs.
Okay.
Is it something I need to talk to you later about?
Yes. So, yeah, drop me a message on Facebook or something, and we'll
Yeah.
arrange time to have a chat properly about it. I think.
Okay.
This thing.
Cool. Thank you.
So Tim, the best thing to do is to email me. So what I'll do actually is I'll put a message in the chat for everyone. And then what I'll do is if you email me, it should help if I knew my email address, wouldn't it? And then obviously I'll keep Mark copied in on all the correspondence so he knows what's going on and who's up for signing up. In terms of the course as well, there will be more than just me there. I have people like staff instructors who come and help out. So whether they are Oyster staff, and I know Tom, you were thinking of maybe doing your staff instructor course as well.
Yeah, I've just started, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, once those courses are complete, they can come and help out on the course as well. So they'll be delivering workshops, they'll be helping to counsel you guys, they will be doing some evaluation training with you. So there's kind of, so you get a bit of a different perspective sometimes as well. So it's good sometimes to have just one person delivering all the training because it's very consistent. But I also think it's quite important to have a couple of staff instructors so you get a little bit more perspective, and people come from very different backgrounds as well, so they can kind of give you some really good advice and tips about how to then work as an instructor going forward. Cool. Any other questions? You're very quiet. Is it a week?
You're going to see loads of people popping up on screen in a minute because our 8 o'clock quiz will be starting.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, so prices. There are prices on the website.
Do you want me to send a link over? I'll send a link to our price page if you like.
Yeah, that'd be
There we go.
cool. Thank you.
So the prices are, assuming PADI haven't changed the courses. To be honest, there's different price structures depending if you go for like a standard package or the MSDT package, and all, you know, and then there's the PADI extras as well. So it's easier just to look at the link I've just sent over.
I wish, George. I wish. That's wishful thinking if ever I saw it. One thing actually on the PADI fees side of thing, Mark has kindly put the PADI fees on the website, so you can see like the IDC fee and all of those sorts of things. The IE fees are being held until at least the 1st of April, which is obviously a little bit frustrating when the IE that we want to do is in May. So I have spoken to PADI and I said, you know, if we have people that have confirmed the course and they've signed up and they're fully committed, would they be happy if you pay your fees up front to have the price from this year and then you don't get charged the increase? And they've said yes. So if you kind of fully committed and signed up, we can get your fees prepaid so you get the price for 2020 just in case they do revise them in the springtime. They haven't said one way or the other for certain, but it's definitely there as an option, you know, if we want to, you know, make the most of that. And to be honest, if you're signing up for your IDC, I would strongly recommend doing it because, as you know, we just don't know what the decisions are going to be in the springtime about that. The other thing that is quite good at the moment is they are offering 20% off the price of the materials. So for the e-learning product, they're offering 20% off the price. They are holding that until the end of this year. So again,
The end of November.
oh yeah, that's when my year's over.
And it's the end of November. So you basically got 10 days to.
Yeah. So don't feel pressured, like genuinely, it's really awkward, isn't it? But 20% is nothing to be sniffed at, you know. So if you definitely want to move over and, you know, progress to instructor, I would seriously consider getting the pack now, because as I said, 20% is a decent chunk of money. So, you know, get in touch with Mark and get your materials, because they won't go off, they don't expire, because this is a new IDC program. The materials are gonna, you know, they're gonna be good for a while yet. But yeah, as I said, it's really worth it. And Mark's just popped his email address in the chat for everyone as well, if you want to get in touch with him about getting that sorted. And then you've got ages that you can do it as well. You can just leisurely do a chapter a week or something, which is probably quite a nice way of doing it. Have you got seen the new materials, Melvin? No. Yeah, they're honestly pretty good. I'm very impressed with it. Anything else? And I don't know the answers to the quiz, just in case you were wondering about that.
Is it worth just getting a very rough idea who might be interested in doing it in April? Just if we got sort of an idea, then we can start planning and looking at dates, and then I can see if we can get the extra pool time. If we can't just do it on weekends, if people need to do it during the week. Yeah. And then we could even look at having a sort of an intro evening, assuming we're all out to go to pubs again or something. So Ian, who happens to be on this call, owns a very nice pub near the lake. Ah,
the famous pub.
Yeah, Curious Parlour. I'll plug it for him.
I've heard so much about this pub.
Tom, who's doing the Jolly Hand Sign, might have a special card we can use as well. So we could maybe have like a sort of welcome evening there or something.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got Ian's a definite, George a definite, Peter's pretty definitely interested. Team Ryan is thinking about it. Mark's in. Oh,
yeah, Peter's on a Maldives trip. I forgot about that. But that's only for 1 week, isn't it? It's not 10 nights. Is it?
Yeah, cool.
So I just think just a question about in terms of the costs, though. You know, so if you went for the package with the extras, I'm just trying to look at both on the screen, to be honest. So would you do the course and then the extra courses afterwards, or you know, I'm just thinking about the 20%. If the 20% is worth doing, really, for this year, would that include the the options if you change the extras later on? What do
you mean by the extras, like the specialties and things?
It's only the learning that you get 20% off at the moment.
Yeah,
oh, right,
so
okay.
so the 20%.
It's not off the course or the fees or anything else. It's just the e-learning.
Yeah. Oh, it's off the whole crew pack, Mark, now because of
the crew pack as well now, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's a big chunk, because I mean that's basically 800 quid's worth of materials. So
is that 20% off the standard package or the master or the luxury pack?
Well, for the package, you need to have an IDC crew pack and the learning.
Right.
So that would be the 20% off that. So the IDC crew pack is currently £580. So you get 20% off that, and the e-learning is £190, and you get 20% off that as well.
Right. So it's just the materials, and okay, yeah. Right, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sure if you ping Mark a message, you can just double check the price of PADI on Monday anyway.
Yeah.
Sadly, the online shop and the pro materials aren't friends at the moment, so it's really hard to check the prices without talking to somebody. Cool. But as I said, if you think of anything else, then you can, email myself or Mark, and, we'll both happily answer the questions. Over the next week to 10 days, if I'm a little bit slow responding, I apologise. It's because I'm going grey and pulling my hair out doing this IDC that I'm doing at the moment. It's just difficult because I'm on such a restricted time window because of the lockdown stuff over here, which is why I'm so stressed. I'm not normally this like frantic during IDCs. I'm normally really relaxed. Yeah, as I said, I think it's a very rewarding course, and I think that teaching people is one of the most rewarding things that you can do. So, you know, I'd always encourage people that if they've even got an inkling that they want to do it, to really just jump in with both feet, because you won't look back and you won't. Okay, fair play. Okay, so teaching people who are paying for a course is very rewarding. And, you know, you will have seen that in your dive master, you know, training anyway. So, yeah, cool. Any other final comments before you guys can start doing your lunges and limbering up for the quiz?
Oh, that's great. Perfect.
Yeah, cool. Thanks very much, Betty. If anyone's got
problem.
any questions, then obviously feel free to give me a shout. Because it's Friday night, if any of you can't remember anything Betty just said because you've had too much ice cream, I've recorded it. So on the link I've just put you to the page on our website. I will upload the link whenever you uploaded it to YouTube on there, so you can watch it back if you like as well. So I'm going to stop recording now.